God is love, and the one abiding in love abides in God, and God abides in him. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear has punishment, and the one fearing has not been perfected in love. How resonant are these words for today as we navigate through this pandemic? We as a society, as a civilization, have responded mainly with fear. Natural and understandable from one perspective. What is it? How are we going to deal with this? What's going to happen? Is this the precursor to the end of the world? As Christians, we are taught in the Bible, as we heard from today's reading, that whoever is in fear has not been perfected in love. They are not completed. They have not fully matured in their spiritual life. And this goes for everyone. Those for, those against, pro-vax, anti-vax, all of us, driven by fear. End of the world, maybe, but driven by fear, as opposed to love. Because those who love say, "Ελθέτω η βασιλεία σου," your kingdom come, bring it on. But those who fear are scared, are worried. What is this? Is this the end of the world? Far from discouraging us, this passage that we read today, being the 29th of September, the memory of St. John the Evangelist who wrote this passage, gives us so much clarity that we should stand up and walk with no fear, no anxiety about the things we usually worry about. Let's talk about some of the fears that grip us in life. We fear pain. We fear illness, and we run away from it. We fear suffering because we don't want to live anything else other than what we define as happiness. All of us who have run after everything that the government has said, yes, we comply. Yes, we understand. Yes, we understand what we are dealing with, but don't take it too far. There are lines that shouldn't be crossed. All of us are at fault here. Και οι μεν και οι δε. What do we define as happiness? Our transient comfort, our fleeting health, things that come and go. And what we've done and what we do is to protect that. We fear dying, the biological end of life. And we are in denial about the reality, because we don't know what is to happen when we shut our eyes, and we fear that. But a Christian should not fear this. We fear failure because our ego is not able to endure the truth that we are not superhuman, that we have limitations. We fear and avoid relationship with other people, because we cannot tolerate their flaws and shortcomings. We don't like other people because we are perfect and others are not. Or, in other cases, that they might take more than what they might give to the relationship. We don't think what we can give to the relationship. And we retreat. We close up alone into a shell, our safe space, our bubble. We fear making the right decisions and implementing them because we think about the cost, the social, political, or personal cost of investing our entire self to make something good happen. We fear being isolated and marginalized when going against the grain, going against the majority, going against the consensus. And I include every one of us, whichever side of the fence we're on. For the author of the passage we read today, the Apostle John, otherwise known as the Apostle of Love, we fear everything except the only thing we should fear. And that's not even suffering or death. And he uses the Greek word kolasis. That's the only thing we should be fearing. Kolasis. A state of existence distant from the light of God. A state of no communion, no warmth, no freedom, no love. Kolasis means binding or imprisonment or punishment. That's the ancient Greek definition. That straitjacket feeling we get when we cannot escape. That's the definition of hell. No, we are preoccupied with all our other fears, that we do not concern ourselves with what may happen after we die. We live as though we won't die, and we die as though we've never lived. So what is the antidote to fear? Bravery? Where would that come from? Strength? Power? Self-regard? Pride? No. The antidote to fear is love. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. Why? Because love of God means reverence of God, faith in God, trust in God. God is love, and the one abiding in love abides in God, and God abides in him. The definition of heaven right there. Dear friends, communal relationship with Christ God heals our fears. The person who believes, abides in, communes, lives, loves, opens their embrace to the other, experiences all this in the liturgical gathering of the church, learns what metania means, what inner change means, what sympathy means, what offering of oneself means. That person is on the path to resurrection and eternity. God is love, and the one abiding in love abides in God, and God abides in him.